Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about part 1 speaking. First, I will give you some general information about part 1 speaking. Then I will give you some tips on how to achieve a high score in this speaking part. Part 1 speaking lasts for 4 to 5 minutes, and there are usually 9 to 12 questions. In this part, the examiner will ask you some questions about you and your life. Topics here include things like study, work, hometown, your hobbies, and shopping. Tip number 1 is that your answer should be 3 to 4 sentences long. Many students think that their answers need to be really long to achieve a high score in this area. That's not true. 3 or 4 sentences is just fine. However, never in Ielts should you give a one-word answer. Our basic structure here is to first answer the question simply and then expand. It's usually a good idea to expand and give examples or use a different tense like the past tense. Tip number 2. In Ielts Part 1 speaking, you should use different tenses and structures. For example, when expanding, you should use the future tense, past tense, perfect tense, or continuous tenses. In Part 1, it is much easier to use different tenses than in Part 2 or Part 3, so take this opportunity to show the examiner your knowledge of English structures. Tip number 3. You should use fluency markers such as I suppose or I guess or honestly. These words will help to increase your score for fluency and coherence. If you don't already know about fluency markers, don't worry. I will have a lesson coming up on that very soon. Tip number 4 is to paraphrase. And by this I mean use different vocabulary. First of all, don't repeat the vocabulary in the question back to the examiner. And second of all, don't repeat the same simple words over and over again. For example, many students say the word I like. I like, I like, I like. Instead of saying I like many times, you should change that. For example, you could say I enjoy, I'm a big fan of, I love. And finally, tip number 5. If necessary, you should use some linking words such as in addition, furthermore, however, on the other hand. This won't always be necessary in Part 1 as your answers are usually quite short. However, if you are giving a long answer, you should use these to help to control your answer and show the examiner what you are doing. Once again,